everyone. Welcome to the ninth lecture of electric circuits. In this video, we will do the AC circuit analysis. So we are going to start with this J and alpha operator. J is equal to 1 angle 90 degree. Plus J means plus 90 degree and minus J means minus 90 degree. Plus 90 degree means rotation in anti-clockwise and minus means rotation in clockwise. Also, J square is equal to minus 1 or J is equal to under root of minus 1. J is used to denote the imaginary terms. So this J is very common in maths in complex numbers. Now we will talk about this alpha. Alpha is just like this J, but here the angle is 120 degree. Plus alpha means plus 120 degree rotation and minus alpha means minus 120 degree rotation. Plus means anti-clockwise, minus means clockwise. Alpha is also known as cube root of unity. Alpha cube is equal to 1 and alpha is equal to 1 angle 120 degree and alpha square is equal to 1 angle 240 degree. And if you add all these value of alpha, 1 plus alpha square, then it is equal to 0. It is an important formula. It will help you in solving equations. Okay, then we will see about the phase and line voltage and current. So here we have this star connected configuration. So here phase voltage is the voltage between the conductor and the neutral. So this is your phase voltage, and here the phase current is flowing like this. And line voltage is VL. It is the voltage between the two conductors. Okay, so phase voltage is the voltage between conductor and the neutral, and line voltage is the voltage between the two conductors. And then current, so the current coming from the supply or anything, it is your line current. And then phase current is the current flowing in the conductor. In star, this line current is equal to phase current and line voltage is equal to 1 upon root 3 times phase voltage. So this is the basic concept of phase and line voltage. Now in delta, so here phase voltage is this voltage and line voltage is this, and as you can see that in delta phase voltage is equal to line voltage. And then current flowing in the line is this, and this is known as line current. And then current flowing in the conductor like this, it is the phase current. And you can see that these two are not equal. Line current is equal to 1 upon root 3 times of phase current. So in star, phase current is equal to line current, but in delta, phase voltage is equal to line voltage. In star, line voltage is equal to 1 upon root 3 times of phase voltage, and in delta, line current is equal to 1 upon root 3 phase current. Okay, so let's see this circuit. This is very simple and basic. Here the instantaneous voltage is V and current I is flowing like this into some impedance which is Z. It can be resistive, it can be inductive, it can be capacitive or a combination of any. So the instantaneous value of Vt is Vm cos omega t plus theta v, and instantaneous value of It is Im cos omega t into theta I. Both V and I are cosine waves, and the maximum value is Vm and Im. And then there is the phase difference of theta v with respect to reference in voltage, and in current the phase difference is theta I. So now instantaneous power is equal to the product of instantaneous voltage and instantaneous current. So if you multiply these two, then we will get this, and then we will apply this formula of cos A cos B, which is equal to half cos A minus B plus half cos A plus B. So we will get this. So you can see that the instantaneous power is the sum of two things. One is constant because there is no t term, and another term is not constant. It is a cosine wave with frequency 2 omega. See, here it was omega, but here it is 2 omega. Therefore, frequency get doubled here. So this is your instantaneous value of power. Now, what is the average value of power? We will use this integration formula to calculate the average. So we will integrate the instantaneous value of power from 0 to t and then divide it by the total time period. So we get this, and here we will put the value of instantaneous power which we have just calculated. So we get this, and as we know that this term is constant and this is the variable term, and integration of sine wave or cosine wave over its time period is 0. Therefore, on integrating this whole term, see, this whole term will get cancelled out and the remaining term is this, which is a constant. So on integrating it, we get this. So average power is equal to half of maximum value of voltage into current, then into cos theta v minus theta I. So this is the phase difference between the voltage and the current. Okay, so now we have two special cases here. So first we will consider the impedance to be resistor. So in resistor, the phase angle difference between the current and the voltage is 0. Therefore, we put theta v minus theta I is equal to 0. Then we get this equation. And on solving this, we get that the average power absorbed by the resistor is half Vm into Im. And in terms of R, it can be written in this and this form as V is equal to IR using Ohm's law. Now, the average power absorbed by a purely reactive element like inductor or capacitor. So here the phase angle difference between the current through a purely reactive element and voltage across it is 90 degrees. Means the value of theta v minus theta I is plus minus 90 degree. Why plus minus? Because for inductor it is plus and for capacitor it is minus. But cos plus 90 and cos minus 90 both have the same value of 0. Therefore, the average power absorbed by a purely reactive element is 0. Now, these two are very important terms, form factor and the peak factor. So, form factor is the ratio of RMS value of the waveform to the average value of the waveform. So, we can write form factor in voltage term as Vrms upon V average, and in form of current it is known as Irms upon I average. Then we have this peak factor. Peak factor is the ratio of maximum value of the waveform to the RMS value. In terms of voltage, it is known as Vmax upon Vrms, and in terms of current, you can write peak factor equal to Imax upon Irms. For sine or cosine waves, Imax upon Irms is under root 2. Therefore, peak factor for sine or cosine waves is root 2. It is a general formula. So whenever you have to find the value of maximum, then you multiply it by root 2 to the RMS. And to find the value of RMS value, then you divide the maximum current by root 2. And this method is applicable for pure sine and cosine wave. By just knowing this peak factor, you can easily find things as you have seen here. So now we have this current IT in form of a constant DC current, and then it contains sinusoidal terms like cos omega 1t, cos omega 2t, and so on. So what is the average value? For average value, we integrate this whole instantaneous value of current between the interval 0 to t and divide it all by the total time period, which is 1 upon t. And we all know that for sine and cosine waves, the average value over its time period is 0. Therefore, this whole term on integration becomes 0, and therefore we get that the average value of current is this I naught. Now, what is the RMS value of the current? Means root mean square. So the root mean square or RMS value of quantity having mixed term is equal to the under root of sum of square of all the RMS value. So IRMS is equal to under root, then I naught square RMS plus I1 RMS square plus I2 RMS square, and so on. Now since I naught is DC, therefore its average value, its RMS value, all will be I naught. Therefore, in place of this, we can write this I naught. Then for this term, we all know that this term is the maximum value. How? So whenever there is something written like this, then here this is the maximum value of this cosine wave. So I1 is the maximum value. And then what is the RMS value? So I1 RMS is equal to I1 upon root 2. Similarly, I2 is the maximum value of this component and I2 RMS is I2 upon root 2. And similarly, here also I3 upon root 2. So we will put these values here and on squaring we get this. So the RMS value or root mean square value of this current is under root of I0 square plus I1 square upon 2 plus I2 square upon 2 and so on. So this is how you calculate the RMS value and average value of any such quantity. Now we will study about this complex power. So till now we have seen that you can write VT like this and IT like this. In phasor form it can be written in like VT is equal to Vm, which is the maximum value, and then angle this theta V, and similarly IT is equal to Im angle theta I. We all know that the average power is half Vm Im cos theta V minus theta I. This we have calculated. Okay, so now this average power can be written like this: Vm upon root 2 into Im upon root 2 and then this angle. And we all know that the maximum value divided by root 2 for this cosine wave is equal to its RMS value. So we can write this average power is equal to Vrms into Irms and then cos theta V minus theta I. So here we are introducing this new term S. This S is also known as apparent power. So the average value of power is apparent power, which is equal to Vrms into Irms. Its unit is in volt ampere, and then this multiplied by this cos theta V minus theta I, and this is known as power factor. This is very important term. So PA for power factor is equal to cos of phase difference between the voltage and the current. Now we will define this complex power S. There is a slight difference between this apparent power and this complex power S. We will see this here. Complex power is equal to half into V into I conjugate, and when you write it in RMS form, then as you can see that here we have converted this maximum value into RMS value. Similarly, we will convert here also. So the complex power is equal to Vrms into conjugate of Irms. So the complex power is equal to S angle theta V minus theta I. And here you can see that this apparent power is only the magnitude of this complex power. So we have denoted it by same letter. So we can say that the complex power is equal to half Vm into Im and then angle theta V minus theta I, which is the phase difference between the voltage and the current. So this is a formula for complex power. So we will now write it in complex form, means using this J term. So the complex power S, whose unit is in volt ampere, can be written as the sum of this real term and imaginary term. So here the magnitude is half Vm into Im, and then real term is equal to magnitude into cos of this angle, and imaginary term is equal to magnitude into sine of this angle. See, just like this, if V is equal to Vm angle theta, then in complex form it is written as V is equal to Vm cos theta plus J Vm sin theta. So similarly, we have written this equation for complex power. Now this real term. This real term is also known as P, which is called active power, and its unit is in watt. And this is your imaginary term denoted by Q, and it is known as reactive power, and its unit is not in watt, not in volt ampere. Its unit is VAR, which is also known as volt ampere reactive. Why? Because it is the reactive power. So P is the real part of S, and here we usually take average power, and then Q is the imaginary part of S. Now we will see these three basic cases. So for resistive load, the phase difference is 0, and when you put here the phase difference is equal to 0, what we get? we get reactive power is equal to 0. Now for capacitive load, current is leading, therefore theta I is greater than theta V. Therefore this term becomes negative and we get a negative Q value. Therefore Q is less than 0 or negative, and we say that it is having leading power factor. And in case of inductive load, voltage is leading, therefore theta V is greater than theta I, and now this term becomes positive. Therefore we get a positive value. So Q is greater than 0 or positive, and we say that it is having lagging power factor. So the complex power is the sum of active power, real power, plus J into reactive power. And in terms of voltage and current, complex power is equal to half into V into I conjugate. So when we put the value, we get half into Vm, then this is angle theta V, into Im angle minus theta I. Why minus? Because here we have used this conjugate term. So therefore we get half Vm into Im and then angle theta V minus theta I. So here it is important to remember that we have used the conjugate value of the current. Okay, so now here we will see this three-phase star connected generators. So this is your load and this is your three-phase RYB. So what does this RYB phase sequence means? See, we all know that here the rotation is always in anti-clockwise direction, and now from standing here as a stationary point, when we see it, then the phase sequence RYB means first R will come and then Y will come and then B will come on seeing from here. So we say the phase sequence is R, then Y and then B, RYB. And here VR, VB, VY are the phase voltage, and VRY means voltage between this R and Y. This is your line voltage. Similarly, VBR and VYB, these are the line voltage. And then the current flowing here, this is your IR, and here it is IY and here it is IB. These all are phase current, and the current flowing in this line is the line current. So IL1, IL2 and IL3 are the line current. And we all know that for three-phase star connected generators, phase current is equal to line current. You can see just from here also. So magnitude of line current is equal to magnitude of phase current. But in case of voltage, magnitude of line voltage is equal to root 3 times of phase voltage. How? We will see this in few minutes. So for balanced star connected generator, the magnitude of all these phase voltage RYB is same and is equal to V phase, and similarly the magnitude of phase current IR, IY, IB is equal to IPH, which is the phase current. And then we will denote this transmission line voltage by VL, which is equal to the magnitude of VRY or VYB or VBR. And then IL is the magnitude of line current, IL1 or IL2 or IL3. So this was all the basic nomenclature here. And now let's see here the phasor diagram. So we all know that VR, VY and VB, these three have same magnitude of VPH, but their angle is different. The angle difference between these phase voltage is 120 degree. Therefore, we get its phasor diagram like this: VR, VY and VB. And now we extend this VR in opposite direction like this. Then we get minus VR, and similarly we will get minus VY and minus VB. And now here you can see that the angle difference between VB and minus VR is 60 degree, and similarly angle between Vy and minus Vr is 60 degree. So this minus Vr is acting like an angle bisector between these two. Now we will calculate the value of line voltage Vry. So what is Vry? Vry means Vr minus Vy, and it can also be written as a sum of Vr and minus Vy. So this is your Vr and this is minus Vy. We have extended Vy in opposite direction to get minus Vy. And then using this vector addition, we get this value of Vry. And here, since the value of Vy and Vr both are equal, therefore Vry is an angle bisector between these two. So initially the angle between Vr and minus Vy is 60 degree, and after drawing its angle bisector, the angle between Vr and Vry is 30 degree. This is all mathematical, you can see from the graph. And now this is the formula for vector addition. The magnitude of this vector sum is equal to under root, then square of magnitude of this A plus square of magnitude of B plus 2 into magnitude of A into magnitude of B into cos theta, where theta is the angle between A and B. So Vry is the sum of Vr and minus Vy, and the angle difference between these two is 60 degree. Therefore, we put theta is equal to 60 here. And now the magnitude of all these quantities are same, which is V phase. So we will put everything here and we get that the line voltage is equal to root 3 times of phase voltage. So here you can see how line voltage is equal to root 3 times of phase voltage. So similarly, if you draw all the other line voltage, then you get here Vyb and here Vbr. So if we take Vyb as a reference, means it is at 0, then Vyb is equal to VL angle 0. Then Vry is having angle plus 120 degree with respect to reference. Therefore, Vry is equal to VL plus 120 degree. From this direction, you can also write that Vry is equal to VL minus 240 degree. Similarly, Vbr is equal to VL plus 240 degree, means here like this. And in minus form, means seeing from this direction, we get minus 120 degree. Therefore, Vbr is equal to VL minus 120 degree. And here you can see that the phase difference between this Vr and Vyb in this case only is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, Vr is written as V phase angle 90 degree. And on seeing from this opposite direction, we get Vr is equal to V phase minus 270 degree. And then Vb, what is Vb? See, Vb and Vy both will have the magnitude of V phase, and the angle. See, the angle between this R and V is 120 degree. We all know this. So we will add 120 here, and then we get 210 degrees. So Vb is at 210 degrees from positive side, and from negative side it is minus 150 degree. And then here we will add again 120 degree to this, because here if you add 120 degree, then you will get Vy. So Vy is equal to V phase angle 330 degree, and in negative direction it is angle 30 degree. Therefore Vy is equal to V phase angle minus 30 degree. So this is basically how the phasor diagrams are drawn, and once you learn how to draw, then you can calculate these quantities very easily. You have just seen that by knowing only this value, we have calculated all these values. Now, the angle between line voltage and line current. So it is equal to 30 plus pi for some RL load. For pure resistive load, it is 30 degree, and for resistive and capacitive load, means combination of both R and C, it is 30 minus 5. This angle cannot be 0. Why? Because some inductance is always present in the generator circuit. Now, why it is important? Because cosine of, means cos of this angle between VL and IL is called power factor at the sending end, means this line power factor. And power factor is a very important quantity. So you must know the basic definition of power factor, which is the cos of angle between V and I. Okay, so after seeing the star connection, now we will focus on delta connected generators. And here again the sequence is RYB. Load is connected to this generator, and we all know that the phase voltage VPS is the magnitude of VR is equal to Py is equal to VB. And for delta connected generators, line voltage is equal to phase voltage. So this VL is equal to V phase, and VL is what? The magnitude of these line voltage VBR, VRY, VIB. Then this IR, IY, IB are the phase current whose magnitude are IPH, and IL1, IL2, IL3 are the current in the line. So these are the line current. Their magnitude is IL. And for delta connected generators, we all know that IL is equal to root 3 times of phase current. And again, you will see this derivation just in few seconds. Okay, so now at this node, we will apply KCL. So here, what is the incoming current? Incoming current is IR and outgoing current is IL1 and IB. Therefore, IR is equal to IB plus IL1. Similarly, at this point, we'll apply KCL. Then IB is equal to IL3 plus IY. And similarly, at this node, IY is equal to IR plus IL2. And from all this equation, you can calculate the value of line current. So IL1 is the sum of IR and then this minus IB. See, it is quite similar to the star connection. There we have used the voltage and here we are using the current. So IL2 is equal to IY plus minus IR and IL3 is the sum of IB and minus IY. So now we are going to see the phasor diagram. We all know that VR, VY, VB are 120 degree apart from each other. And now we will draw the phase current. So basically for a generator circuit, voltage leads the current by angle phi. So we all know that this is your IR, and from this IR we will add plus 120 degree to get this IB, and then again plus 120 degree to get this IY. And now we will extend these IR, IY, IB in opposite direction. So here we get minus IB and minus IR and minus IY. And we have just seen that this IL1 is the vector sum of IR and minus IB. Therefore, this is your IL1 making angle 30 degree from each of this quantity, and we will calculate its value by using the formula. So IL is equal to magnitude of IL1 equal to under root of square of magnitude of IR plus square of magnitude of minus IB, then plus 2 into magnitude of IR into magnitude of minus IB, and then cos of the angle between them. So what is the angle between them? It is 60 degree. It is quite similar to the voltage in star connected generators. So angle is equal to 60 degree, and we all know the magnitude of IR and minus IB is equal to IPH, which is the phase current. So we will put everything here and we will finally get this value that the line current is equal to root 3 times of phase current. So instead of remembering this whole thing, we just remember this small thing. You just have to know how we have calculated this. You should know the concept, but only thing to remember is this. For delta connected generators, line current is equal to root 3 times of phase current. Okay, so here we have drawn the remaining component, which is IL2 and IL3 like this here. Here we have taken IL1 as a reference, means here we are assuming that this is at angle 0. Means you have to shift your graph like this. Then IL1 is equal to IL 0 degree. Then what is IL2? IL2 is minus 120 degree. We will go 120 degree in negative direction or 240 degree in positive direction. Therefore, IL2 is equal to IL angle minus 120 degree or is equal to IL plus 240 degree. Similarly, what is IL3? IL angle plus 120 degree or minus 240 degree. So, this is your IL3. Now, what is IR? IR is the phase current, and you know that the angle between this IR and IL1 is 30 degree. Therefore, IR is I phase angle 30 degree. Then what is IY? IY is minus 120 degree from IR or plus 240 degree from IR. So if we add plus 240 degree, then we get IY is equal to I phase plus 270. And if we take minus 120 degree, then we get IY is equal to I phase minus 90 degree. Then what is IB? IB is IR plus 120 degree rotation. So when you add 120 here, we get IB is equal to I phase angle 150. and in negative direction, so IR minus angle 240 degree, then we get IB is equal to I phase angle minus 210 degree. This is all just phasor diagram. You just have to know how to draw this and how to read its value. That's it. Now here also angle between VL and IL. So it is 30 degree plus 5 for RL load. For purely resistive load, it is 30 degree, and for R and C load, it is 30 minus 5 degree. Now we will do some power calculations. So for a single phase circuit, power is equal to V phase into I phase into cos phi, where phi is the angle between V and I. Cos phi is also known as power factor. And then for three phase, power is equal to 3 into V phase into I phase into cos phi. So basically you can say that three phase power is equal to 3 into single phase power. Then for star connected system, P star is equal to 3 into V phase into I phase into cos phi, and we all know for star connection V phase is equal to VL upon root 3. Therefore, we will put VL here. So P star is equal to 3 into VL upon root 3 into I phase cos phi. Then for star connected system, line current and phase current are same. So therefore, we can write as P star is equal to under root 3 times of VL IL into cos phi. And similarly, Q or reactive power in three-phase star connected system is root 3 times of VLIL sin phi. See, here you have used cos phi and here it is sin phi. Then for delta connected system, we all know that phase voltage is equal to line voltage and phase current is equal to 1 upon root 3 times of line current. So in line voltage and line current terms, P delta is equal to root 3 into VLIL cos phi, and Q delta is equal to root 3 VLIL sin phi. So this is your sending end power in both the cases. Now if they both have same sending end power, means here voltage is same, then what will happen? So here line voltage is 440, then phase voltage is 440 upon root 3, and here since line voltage and phase voltage are same, therefore in delta connected system phase voltage is 440, and you can see that phase voltage in star is less than the phase voltage in delta. Therefore insulation cost of delta is high because of higher phase voltage. Then higher phase voltage in delta results in extra cooling and making it more bulkier. Therefore we prefer star. Then in delta there is no provision of neutral as in star. Delta configuration doesn't allow third harmonics to enter in the transmission line. So this is your advantage of delta connected system, that it doesn't allow any third harmonics, and the rest are the disadvantage of delta connected system. Okay, now we will see this simple example. So the C phase voltage of a balanced star connected supply system is this, and what is the value of VAB if the phase sequence is ACB? So what does this phase sequence ACB means? So when you're standing here and this is your three-phase circuit, then if this is A, then where would be the C? See, it will rotate like this. So now while seeing from here, you will see that first A will come, then C, and then B. So this is the meaning of ACB. Now it was given that C phase voltage is 230 volts and angle is minus 25 degree. Therefore, we will draw first C phase, which is minus 25 degree here. Now where is A? A is here plus 120 degree. Therefore we will draw here. It is A. And what is B? We will go minus 120 degree from C to get this B. So here we have this VA, VB and VC. And since it is a balanced star connected system, therefore magnitude of VA, VB, VC is 230 degree. And since C is minus 25 degree, so what is the angle of A? We will add plus 120 degree. Therefore, VA is 230 angle 95 degree. And then what is VB? VB is VA plus 120 degree. So here we will add plus 120 degree, then we get this VB, and VAB is what? VA minus VB. So we will put this value and we get VAB is equal to 398 angle 65 degree. So this is how you calculate it theoretically. And now using phasor diagram. So what is VAB? VAB is the sum of VA plus minus VB. So this is your minus VB and this is your VA. We all know that this angle between minus VB and VC is 60 degree, but VC is minus 25 degree, therefore this angle becomes 35 degree. And since it is a balanced star connected system, therefore these both quantity have same value. So VAB is bisecting this angle, means this angle is 30 degree and this angle is also 30 degree. So when we compare this VAB with reference, then it is 30 degree and then this 35 degree. So the total angle is 65 degree. So now we know the angle of this VAB, which is 65 degree. And then its magnitude, we have calculated its magnitude using the formula of vector addition. So it is root 3 times of phase voltage, which is 398. So you can calculate this line voltage using this phasor diagram, or you can use this theoretical option also. Both are available. Okay, now we will see another example. 300 ohm resistors are connected to 3-phase 400 volt supply. So this is your supply voltage, means this is your line voltage. And you have to find the power consumed when the resistors are connected in these four configuration. So we will first see the star configuration. So line voltage is 400 volt and therefore phase voltage is 400 upon root 3 and this is your 100 ohm. Therefore, using this Ohm's law, we can calculate this phase current. So what is the phase current? It is V phase upon R, and on putting the value we get 4 upon root 3 ampere. Now what is the power? Power for 3-phase system is 3 into V phase into I phase into cos phi. And since here the load is resistive, therefore power factor is unity, means it is 1. So now we will calculate this value. So P is equal to 3 into 400 upon root 3 into 4 upon root 3 into 1. So we get power consumed by a star connected system is 1600 watts. And then in delta connected system, line voltage is equal to phase voltage. Therefore, phase current is equal to V phase upon R, which is 4 ampere. You can see that here phase voltage is 4 upon root 3, but here it is 4 ampere. And now using the formula of 3-phase power, we will get power is equal to 3 into V phase, which is 400 volt, then into I phase, which is 4 ampere, and then power factor, which is 1. So we get power consumed in delta connected system is equal to 4800 watts. And you can compare from here that in delta connected system, power consumed is 3 times of power consumed in star connected system. Now in case of open star connection, we will open one connection. So here what we get, this is your phase voltage and this is your total resistance 100 plus 100 ohm, and we all know that power is equal to V square upon R. So 400 square upon R plus R, which is equal to 800 watts. So here it is consuming the minimum power. And then in open delta connection, we will open this connection. So here what we are getting, we getting 400 volt across this resistor and then 400 volt across this resistor. Therefore total power consumed is V square upon R. So 400 square upon 100 plus 400 square upon 100. Therefore, we get P is equal to 3200 watts. Now, what we observe from this, that in star connected system, power consumed is 1 upon 3 times of delta connected system. Therefore, we prefer star connected system. Then by opening one connection in star, we get that the power consumed is reduced by 50%. As P open delta upon P delta is 1 by 2. And then by opening a delta connection here, the power is reduced by 2 by 3 of the total power. As P open delta upon P delta is 2 by 3. So this is a basic observation. You can even remember this observation. So by solving this, we know the difference between this star delta and open delta, and how the powers are changed by changing the connection. Okay, so now we will see this question from ESE 2004. A 3-phase star connected balanced load consumes P watts of power from a 400 volt line to line voltage supply. Here it is given line to line voltage, but usually in question it is not given, but you have to remember that whatever given is usually the line voltage. Then if the same load is connected in delta across the same supply, see again the supply is same and now the load is connected in delta, and you have to calculate the power consumption. And you all know that power consumed in delta is 3 times of power consumed in star. Therefore, option D is correct. So you can see that we have solved this question in less than 1 minute just by knowing these few facts. Okay, now this is your question from GATE 2015. In the given network, V1, V2 and V3 have these value, and you have to find the phasor current in ampere. See, this V1, V2, V3 are having same magnitude and the phase difference is either 120 or 240 degree. You can see that it is star connected system at both the ends. Okay, so now we will apply KCL at this node A. So the incoming current is I is equal to the outgoing current. And what is your outgoing current? See here, voltage is V3. Therefore, I is equal to V3 minus V2 upon J1 plus V3 minus V1 upon minus J1. So this is your equation, and now you just have to solve and put the values. So if you take 1 upon J common, then we get this, and therefore I is equal to V1 minus V2 upon J, and then we will put its value. So we get I is equal to 173.2 angle minus 60 degree amperes. So from here to here it is all maths. Only this part is your electric circuits. You just have to learn how to write this equation, and the rest is on your maths ability. So this was all about three-phase AC circuit analysis. This was the last lecture from electric circuits. Now your electric circuits is fully completed. For understanding better, you have to practice more questions. For any queries, you can comment below. All the best for your exams. Thank you.